The single biggest question and remark that I hear small businesses talking about is fundamentally, how do I get a better return on my investment for the marketing efforts and expenditure that I put in? So that's the one thing that consistently small businesses are trying to resolve. Bigger businesses maybe understand a few issues around return on investment and aren't relying on a few things that they're trying to execute at any one point in time. But for small businesses, it's usually just a relatively small number of things that they're trying to work on. And that's the biggest issue that I hear. How do I get a bigger bang for my buck? Now really there's a number of failure points that I consistently see. The first reason for poor return on investment for marketing efforts and expenditure is very often the lead capture mechanism. So I see time and time again people struggling to learn how to do AdWords, to learn how to drive traffic, to learn how to do Facebook advertising or Twitter advertising, and they're driving traffic to a particular landing page, and that landing page is then of poor quality and or doesn't really have a proper lead capture mechanism associated with it. So all that energy and money that's been put in is just completely wasted because the visitor to that page, the visitor to that intro point doesn't leave their contact details because they don't feel any reason why they should. The quality isn't there, or the mechanism itself isn't there. And that's the single biggest waste of resources that I see, is really poor lead capture mechanisms. On average, small businesses try and follow up with their contacts between 2 and 3 times, so 2.6 times on average, and that's really just not enough. In a study that was published in Harvard Business Review a few years ago, there was a fairly extensive research done for a range of sizes of businesses in the United States, asking MDs, marketing directors, sales directors, when do you usually do business with your customers? How long does it take, and how many follow-up connections is it usually required? And the answer consistently was coming back at about 7 or 8 follow-up connections. People who make an inquiry usually buy within 12 months of making that inquiry, but not necessarily immediately. So 2 to 3 follow-ups is just not enough, and the length of time of follow-up is just not long enough. So if you've spent money on driving traffic to a lead capture page, and then you've actually got the leads, you've got the contacts, and you're only following up 2 or 3 times, that's just simply not enough, and it's just such a waste of the effort and the waste of the resources that you've already got in place. So that's a big issue for small businesses particularly, that cannot afford to waste those valuable resources for what turns out to be pretty good quality leads, just leads that aren't quite at the right time to convert into sales. The third issue that I see small businesses really struggling with is pretty common with businesses of any size, but if you ask customers, why did you leave a business? Why did you stop spending money with one particular business and then start spending money with another business? In 65% of the cases, the reason is indifference. The businesses were not taking care of their customers, they weren't communicating with their customers, the businesses just kind of forgot about the customers, and the customers therefore forgot about the businesses, and they just went somewhere else. There was no big customer service failure, no big issues, no big fallouts, no big hassles. It was just pure indifference on behalf of the businesses to stay in contact and add continuous value to their customers. And for the customers, they couldn't be bothered, and they just moved on, tried another business, or the next person that came in that was looking to buy something, didn't even know of an existing relationship with a particular vendor because there was no relationship that had been established there. And that's a terrible shame, because all the effort and all the expense of marketing and sales has already gone in, and then with no effort being made to keep a relationship going with the customers, that would have been an easy sale. It would have been a relatively low cost of sale to have developed that relationship and kept that relationship, so the next sales that come along. Now, it may be that it was a couple of months, 6 months, 12 months. Hey, look, it might have been 6 or 7 years in the case of real estate before the next purchase was made. But if there's no relationship maintained over that period of time, you have to go back to square one. And that's a real shame for small businesses. It really is very simple to fix some of these failures in the customer life cycle. Connecting with customers, attracting traffic, and then making sure the lead is captured properly is relatively straightforward to do, and there's some little techniques and tricks that can be deployed there to make sure that the most is made of the money that's spent on attracting traffic. Follow-up is so easy. An extended follow-up needs to be put together. There's technologies that can help there. There's simple techniques that can help there. This doesn't need to be complex and involved. It's really just a simple matter of pacing and consistency in follow-up. And again, staying in contact with customers through a variety of medium is relatively simple to do, relatively simple to automate, and to make as easy as possible, and therefore as profitable as possible. Love to talk with you some more and explain in quite a lot of detail how to do this, so that you really understand how to make this work in your business. It is simple. It's straightforward. You do need some technology to help you. That would be a great labour saving and time saving and consistency saving device to have the right technology in place. But it's more about strategy and approach, and all those things can be very easily fixed in the vast majority of small businesses.